Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the November 2024 meeting of the Orange Board of Selectmen. In the event of an emergency, audience would use the doorway to your right or my left. If for some reason you couldn't go up that doorway, you can go straight down the hallway and out the back, which would lead you to the parking lot by the firehouse. Or you could go up the stairway behind the wall with the clock on it, through the double doors and out through the front door. Will put you out in front of the town hall in the event of an emergency. With that said, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'll start down the far end on my right tonight. Let everybody know who you are.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. PJ Shanley.
Good evening, Judy Williams.
And Denny, Secretary of the Board.
Good evening, John Carangelo.
Bill Kraut.
Good evening, Mitch Goldblatt.
Okay, very good. Public participation. Public participation is for any item that is not an agenda item. We allow 2 minutes per speaker. Is there anybody for that? I thought you'd be at the POCD.
I should.
You should be. I agree.
I'll go over there afterwards. You'll get rid of me soon. Tom Paisano, 523 Fairway Road, Orange, Connecticut. Yes, I'm concerned about conservation also. Quick question, and just a follow-up. I don't see it on the agenda, but at last meeting, we talked about the municipal farming of municipal land, and I know our selectman was looking to get bid documents from Woodbridge. I'm wondering if that happened. I don't see it on the bid, the agenda, and I know our Vin isn't here, our town attorney, but he should probably be letting other people know that that's the plan for the municipal farmland. And we're having a meeting tomorrow, that's why it's pertinent today, with the Fred Wolf workshop. And I'm sure that's going to be a question that's being asked, the usage and how fast we can obtain that land to complete the Fred Wolf Park master plan. Thank you. Any questions? I'm here. If not, I'll sit down. I'll go to the other meeting.
Sit down. You're the best I can offer. I knew you did. To respond to Mr. Pisano on that, we did not say we would be doing that. That was Selectman Goldblatt's suggestion to consider, and we may consider it at some point, but I did speak to Woodbridge, and Woodbridge actually has some very different regulations in their requirements, but they are all Woodbridge residents to bid on it, and there are some other background and things required with it. But being the fact that we have very few who do this, and we haven't had any complaints with those that are doing it, there would probably be no reason to forfeit somebody's contract, as they haven't done anything wrong. And quite honestly, and I can speak from both professionals sitting in this chair and personally as well, the amount of money that we collect from any one of those farm families in this town, and all our farm residents, town residents, and taxpayers, is minuscule. The purpose of that is they maintain more land at zero cost to us and pay for the right to do that than we could ever consider if we had to pay our Parks and Recreation crew to maintain those properties. And then on top of that, those families that rent those lands make their livelihood from it. They're not looking to cause a problem, create a problem, or anything like that. The few farm families that we have left in this town are generally, on top of paying to use land to sweat and toil to create a crop, are also some of the most generous families within this community. And quite honestly, I will not insult any one of them unless they've done something wrong, and none of them have. So that's where that stands at this moment. And I speak both professionally as first selectman and personally as a farmer in this community. That's my answer. Thank you.
Can I respond?
You can.
Jim, I think you're taking it too personally. I think it's, nobody's suggesting that anything was ever done wrong. It's just that, we have processes in the town for bids, for everything. No, the person who took down the trees for the last year or two didn't do anything wrong. But we still did a bid process, and another arborist got the bid this year. I don't see anything wrong with going out and looking at who else might be interested. I don't think there should be a monopoly on the parcels. We have a contract or an agreement that goes for a certain period of time. The period of time has ended, so it give everybody else a chance. I don't see anything wrong with that. In fact, I think it's actually wrong just to continue to go forward with the same person just because they've done a good job. No one's saying they haven't done a good job. We talked about it at the American Legion piece as well, across the American Legion, I should say. We talked about it there, and we had 3 people interested. I don't see why we can't take a look at these other parcels as well. That's my opinion.
Your opinion. Well taken. Anybody else? You can speak, Mr. Chandler, if you would like. You have to come up here to do it.
I'm not that familiar with that. I think that you guys are still discussing this.
Okay.
Can I chime in? May I do that?
Sure you may.
For what Jim is saying, the idea of maintaining the land and keeping this town looking so pristine is far more valuable to anything. And by rights, I almost say, my gosh, yeah, minuscule. We're lucky that they do it. We're lucky that they get in there and they take care of the land. If anybody wants to drive over towards the Woodbridge Country Club and see how well they took care of their land, and that's what happens. You leave it alone, and it's going to go back to woods eventually. I agree that we have some families in town that have been very, very supportive of the town of Orange. I look at the tractor parade, what they created. We had a whole holiday season thing that was going, and it was getting kind of flat, and all of a sudden they came up, let's do the tractor parade. The amount of people that come out for that is amazing. And again, who's the source of it? These are our local backbone type people that are going to get out there and they're going to do things. Our country fair is another example of all the farmers in town that really pull together and perform and do stuff for the community. I think this is almost a gift that we give them. Along with that, when you think about a farm field, you get in there, that farmer has to figure out what can grow, how well it's going to grow, what kind of seeds do I need, et cetera. So these people have done it, they know what's necessary, and they're able to have that field looking good every year. I can't see why we would disturb that.
Okay. Any other topics? Jeff, you had something else?
A different topic.
That's fine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Chandler. I live on Tyler City Road in Orange. And I came here tonight to request that the town consider installing speed bumps at High Plains Community Center. Because myself and my wife spend a lot of time at the community center. We walk there, we run there, and it's getting busier and busier. It's a wonderful recreational facility for everybody in town, but many cars drive too fast in there. On that first straightaway where the entrance is, going straight down past the pavilion, down to where the public restrooms are, it's about maybe 1,000 feet, and I've seen cars just floor it, going straight down, especially when they're going to pick up kids at the swim meet or swim practice. There's also Frisbee golf back there. A lot of people come from other towns, and people are just really driving a little too fast there. And I think that if we put speed bumps in there, it would be safer for everybody. So that's all I have.
That's good. We had one years ago. There used to be right by the cafeteria. And when they repaved it, I know that disappeared and didn't come back, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a possibility now, because our asphalt work is done. Tilcon is shutting down their plants, I think, maybe this week.
Yeah. It's probably something that waits
But
to the
it's something
spring.
now would go till spring.
Yeah.
But, no, that's a very fair request.
The driveway, the long circular driveway around the back, people drive really fast near the tennis courts over there too. So I think that, whoever decides about it
witnessed it, too.
has to look it over and see where they should go, but that's just my opinion. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right, very good.
Jim, if it's something that we want to consider, we could probably put something out like we do at the transfer station, just as plastic or, temporary ones. That would certainly slow people down. Just to lay them out and then take them out when it's winter time and you have to plow anyway. Just a thought.
Well, we can take a look at it. Anybody else? Yes? Be very careful. I know the camera person tonight.
know her very well. Yes, my name is Charles Shetland, 375 Dogburn Lane. Just to follow up on speed bumps, Dogburn Lane has for years been a cut-through. Racebrook Road, Orange Center Road, but a lot of people coming down from Woodbridge on Dogburn Lane, off of Dogwood into Spring and down Dogburn Lane. And I've always thought about speed bumps. And I know speed bumps years ago were very, very high and they were in parking lots, et cetera. But I've seen them around in New Haven and low-level speed bumps. Just for a consideration, the second thing would be the speed limit on Dogburn Lane, which is a very narrow road, is 30 miles per hour. Other roads that are much wider, and I have measured them in Orange, are 25 miles per hour. And I'm out walking my dog, this is personal, and people are flying by. And I'd like to see a way to just slow the traffic down. It is, as I say, a cut-through. It's become a major artery between the Post Road and north Woodbridge, up to Woodbridge. And so I would just, following your conversation, wish that you would consider that. Thank you.
There's a couple spots just to look at. Some could be done. I had to go over one today. I had to go down to New Haven, and if you're going down into New Haven at Central Avenue, just after you turn in off of Route 34, where they put in a crosswalk there by the new lacrosse building and all, which is kind of right behind Cox Cage there. And it's a traffic calming measure there. It's very wide from there to, and wide, so it's not a boom.
No, it's
more
not.
of a,
It's
more of a
just a kind of.
calm one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And
calm one.
that's
And I go
possibly
over,
something
I
that we
drive
look
over
at.
to southern Connecticut
All right, well,
to
that's
take
where
a
I was going
class,
to
and
today.
there's another one across there.
That's where I was going.
That's where you were
And,
going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
And I think that they could, it wouldn't cause them to, put on the brakes, but it
No.
would cause them to slow down a little.
it does cause it.
And also the miles per hour, the sign is 30 miles per hour.
That's the traffic authority, which is the police commission, but we can speak to them on that.
I wish you would, because I
it's-
went to a police commission meeting, and I felt that I was kind of dismissed. And they, I like the police commissioner, but I was told, okay, it's a state issue, and you have to go through the state to do that.
Not there, it's not your street, it's not.
I didn't think so, but
No.
that's what I was told.
No, yours isn't
Yeah.
a state issue.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
No, all right, very good. Anyone else for this? Nope, nope. Okay, anybody else at the table? Mitchell,
I do, I've got a couple
you're
things.
going 4 for 4, you're doing good.
Okay. We had another great shredding day a few weeks ago. We collected 9,850 pounds of paper to be shredded.
You were down.
Down, yeah, it was down a bit. I think we've gotten, the bulk of the people cleaning out the boxes and boxes from their basements is certainly reduced, but we still had quite a few, and it pretty much fills the truck. Trucks fits about 10 to 11,000 pounds, so it pretty much filled the truck. Still very successful. We had 21 mattresses collected. There was $190 collected in electronics recycling. And the Orange Rotary Scholarship Fund collected $1,600 in donations from people that were generous when bringing their things for shredding. And we're looking forward to May 3rd will be the next shredding day, which will also be hazardous waste
was my
disposal
question.
day at the same time. All the partners we had this last time will be with us again, with the exception of the drug take-back, which has to be the week before because it's built into the national date. So we couldn't get that moved. So they're going to be April 26th. Everything else will be on May 3rd.
I was going to ask you, we had a couple people call about the Hasway stuff.
Has
And I
waste we
said,
do
I think
once,
that's
we do
only in the
once a year,
spring,
once a
was
year in
my
the
answer.
spring, and we've gotten it confirmed, and hopefully it'll hold this time for the same date with us, with the Has Waste people at the Regional Water Authority. They'll be coming to us. May 3rd, they'll be behind the High Plains down by the lower pavilion. And Jim, while I've got the floor, one other thing, kind of a surprise. 2 days ago, we had wonderful, for those that were there, and were watching OGAT, we had wonderful, once again, Veterans Day ceremonies. I thank all those that helped put that together. I was also invited to go to the University of New Haven's Veterans Day ceremonies. Okay, so I went. And they're going to honor a 101-year-old person. Okay. Veteran. Okay. So I'm sitting there, and the president, Jens, gets up, and he says, we have a very special guest here, 101 years old. We're going to give him a Doctorate of Letters degree for all his service to this country, Warren Molston, who a lot of you know. And
He's
I can't-
101?
He's 100. That's why I couldn't believe it was the same guy until it was over.
He was in here not long ago, maybe at tax time, he was here. He came in to pay his taxes, stopped to talk to me. I didn't think he was that old.
And I'll just pass this around. You can take a look, a picture of Warren, and
Wow.
congratulations to Warren Molston, Orange resident, lives over at Silverbrook,
Silverbrook.
and just received his doctorate of humane letters from the University of New Haven. So,
Yeah, he was in the, yeah, he is.
He doesn't
Yeah,
look like,
no, he was in the building for tax season.
He's taller than you, Mitch. Yeah, he is. He spoke,
I'll take
he got up.
oh, so am I.
Was that,
Never mind.
I missed a good one? On my expense, probably.
Oh, Mr. Carangelo. Okay. Any other announcements? I have a few tonight. First, we lost two of our very great community members who were very involved in so many things over the years. The first one, Marie Gessler, lovely lady. She was always the sergeant at arms of the Strawberry Festival and helped me show she was, and ran that so very well, very involved with the Congregational Church across the street and other town events, the fair and all. And she passed away, unfortunately, and our thoughts are with David and the family there. And Norma Callahan, who some of you may remember and some of you won't. She passed away, I believe, up in Massachusetts, I believe. She was our librarian here for, I don't know, many, many years. When it started down at the Firelight Shop, and then it moved up to when they built the little library in the center of town, and then added on to the library in the center of town. Norma was the librarian here for years. Yeah, I think Ann and I are probably the only ones who may remember, or Judy and I are the only ones, I mean, that would remember her.
I remember.
So, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, you're older than me.
As you so aptly pointed out at the last meeting.
Only by 2 years.
How about 2 years?
Yeah, well,
Hope
you
you had a
know.
nice birthday last.
I did, but I got more gray than you. You make me nervous, I guess. I don't know. Thursday, November 21st, the Orange Economic Development Corporation, which runs the farmers market, is having a holiday market at the Pavilion at High Plains at the Fairgrounds from 3:30 to 6:30. That's November 21st. Congratulations, I think Mitch delivered it. We issued a proclamation to the Orange Players on the 50th anniversary of the Orange Players, who have been putting on theatrical performances here in town for 50 years. Long time.
Jim, thank you very much. They were very appreciative of the proclamation, and it was a very wonderful and fun-filled evening at the American Legion that night with the Orange Players.
Awesome. Thursday, November 28th is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And reminder, all town offices will be closed and the transfer station will be closed on Thanksgiving Day. The town offices are also closed the day after Thanksgiving, but the transfer station is open. Thanksgiving Day, for those of you that like to run, the Rotary Club of Orange will be having their Thanksgiving Day, the Turkey Trot, and that begins at 8 a.m. up at High Plains Community Center. I think weather depending, they're either under the pavilion or they're in the building, depending on Mother Nature. Lately, it's been rather unpredictable, so you have to go there and then you'll find out. Recycling schedule for the week of November 25th, which is Thanksgiving week. Tuesday and Wednesday will be the same, but due to the holiday which falls on Thursday, recycling pickup for Thursday is on Friday, and Friday is on Saturday. Have your bins out by 6 a.m. Saturday, December 7th, rain date is Sunday the 8th, is, as Mrs. Williams already said, the tractor parade and the holiday festival tree lighting here in the center of town. The activities start at 3 in the afternoon, go till about 6 p.m. The tractor parade leaves Fred Wolf Park right around 4:30, 4:40. They come up Ridge Road, up Meeting House Lane, around the green in front of the white church, and down to the fairgrounds. And this year, there will be 3 or 4 food trucks down there at the fairgrounds, so when you go there to walk around and look at all the different floats and all, there will be, I think there's pizza, barbecue, Mexican food, and hot dogs, and what? Some dessert stuff, too. So Ann has been working on that with Mr. Foyer to put that together. Mr. Foyer this is his fun and games of the season as he sits in his chair right now at home watching to make sure I don't forget him. He lives for this parade. It's the first year it started out in 7 days. Denise Fanarella came in my office and asked if they could do it. She expected me to say no. And I said, sure, why not? And she ended up with 23 participants that first year. And last year, they had 73 participants in it. So it's a lot of people have great fun, and it's a community event. Okay. Minutes. To consider and act upon the minutes of the October 9th regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If you have any errors, omissions, or corrections, please state page and paragraph. If not, is there a motion to be made on those?
Jim, I'll make a motion, but I also wanted to point out, there was a discussion at the last meeting, I think it got clarified after said meeting, that the vacancy on the Orange Board of Ed that was filled by Amanda Zapaka will be for 2 years. And
Yeah.
it'll be a 2-year, it won't be the full term, there'll be a special election as part of the next municipal elections to fill, maybe by her, the remaining 2 years. So I
Right.
want to make that clarification.
Yep.
But yeah, that with a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any others? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Second minutes are to consider and act on the minutes of the October 29th special meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Any errors, omissions, or corrections? If not,
So moved.
Second.
any others? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Item number 1 is to consider and act on the request of the Orange Lions Club to waive the facility fees for the use of the High Plains Community Center Cafe on Friday, November 15th for a military whist, which is a card game of some sort. I don't know what it is, but they had great fun doing it last time. Any issues for that? Anybody here from the Lions for that? Okay, motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, unanimous. Any of you who haven't been down there yet, you really should go and take a look at the redone cafeteria. Mr. Brinton and Ms. Johnson did a great job getting that cleaned up and fit out, and it looks wonderful, and there's new flooring and painting and everything. It looks very nice, and it, well done. For both of you, you're both sitting right in boxcar fashion there, but it was, I poked and then looked at it the other night. It came out beautiful. Youth Services presentation, Chantel Bunnell is here. She's the Youth Services Coordinator, and Stacy Johnson, who is her boss, are here. They're making a presentation before us tonight.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thanks for letting us come to speak to you. I'm Stacy Johnson. I am the Director of Community Services, and this is Chantel Bunnell. She is the Youth Services and Prevention Coordinator. Chantel is our newest staff member to join the Community Services team, and she's stepping into a big job. I make no bones about it. Chantel came in eyes wide open and enthusiastic, and she knows what she's getting into. And whether Youth Services is doing positive youth development or prevention programs, we look to harness support from the community. We look to build partnerships with our community. And because we can't do it alone, we can't. There's just no way. And so many of these issues that we're tackling are community-wide issues. And tonight we came because of one specific issue we want to talk to you about tonight, and that is related to youth vaping and vape shops in Orange. So I'm going to let Chantel pick it up.
Good evening, everybody. Obviously, as those that you don't know who I am, my name is Chantel Bunnell, and I'm the new, as Stacy said, Youth Service Coordinator and Prevention Coordinator as well for the town. So I'm tasked with providing positive youth development in the town, along with mental health awareness, drug awareness, and alcohol prevention. I'm here today to talk to you about the vape and smoke shops in Orange and what the board can do to support us and to provide some insight on what is in them and how this is impacting our youth. In your packet, you received a list of what's in the vape shops, our little orange guy. There's a magnet with prevention. I also put my card in there too. Thank you, Ann, for getting those out to everybody. And as most of you may or may not already know, we do have a national health crisis among our teens in regarding vaping. Prevention agencies like ours, we're trying to gauge how to cope with this really fast-moving epidemic. In your packets, I gave you a general list of what's sold in those vape shops. And there are many things sold, obviously, that would negatively impact our teens. So why do we care about this, and what does this mean? When we talk about prevention, we talk about like how we can help in our community. And currently in Orange right now, there's 5 smoke vape shops. I'm not talking about the cigar shops. I'm talking about vape shops that sell the things that were in the packet. So hopefully you all had a chance to watch the 8-minute video that was emailed to you. If you didn't, take a few minutes and watch it. It's a really powerful conversation with a youth that had gone through some difficult times with vaping. So through social media, flavoring, mango, vanilla, there's all sorts of different flavorings. Once they get started now, it's highly, highly addictive. It's not like cigarettes, the addiction is worse, the nicotine is higher levels, and the synthetic nicotine is out of control. So let me give you an example. We're all familiar with the Marlboro Reds from back in the day, right? Those have 15 milligrams of nicotine. Vape puffs on the small vapes that are the disposable vapes are 38 for a puff. So you're talking almost double that. So that's where we're at. So some of the vapes are much stronger. One of the puffs, like I just said, they can be more than double. And some of the vapes are equivalent to I'm just trying to give you a perspective, 590 cigarettes in one of them, which is equivalent to 20 packs. So there's 5, it depends on the vape. There's many. Everybody's trying to keep up with this. So my colleagues at Yale who have been researching everything from talking to youth to all the different vapes. Right now, there's 15,000 different types of vapes, flavoring, everything on the market. And out of those 15,000, 34 are approved by the FDA. So between the oils in them, the coils, the lead, and the chemicals most of you wouldn't even use in your home. So now that I've given you all this information, what are we doing well and what needs to improve? I met with both the superintendent at the elementary schools as well as the superintendent at the high school and working with Amity Middle School, and we're doing some preventions with Yale that are coming up over in the winter. We're in collaboration with the police department and the SROs at the 6th grade elementary school level who are expanding their vaping programming through the SOAR program that they do. And we've been working together on that. We're also developing a youth committee in town. The goal of that committee is to do community service, do events, and it's also a prevention piece. So it's really youth-driven. What are they seeing? What are they thinking? Because they're the ones that are really going to tell us. So what we need and why I'm here today, we need your support. And in the world of prevention, we talk about environmental strategies, Basically, if we can limit youth access to these smoke shops or help to add moratoriums for no further smoke shops to come in, then we've been successful in reducing access. So this all came up because I was at an annual meeting. After starting in July, I was at an annual meeting in September with Milford Prevention Council. The town of Milford passed a moratorium for vape and smoke shops. They had approximately almost 24 vape shops, and the moratorium indicated that no further vape shops could come in, but that the ones that were there would still stay. And they're doing some zoning stuff as well. So that means for us, that was as of September 24th, I think, so that's going to open our post road. So most towns, including Orange, are going to see an uptick in these vape shops. And so today, I'm basically asking that the Orange Board of Selectmen consider taking action immediately by enacting a moratorium on any further smoke shops coming into our town, smoke vape shops, that is, coming into our town. And I'm also requesting looking at zoning of placement of these shops. We will continue work on the prevention and stuff with youth and families, limiting the vape, youth and families, and limiting the vape shops within Orange. You'll help to limit the access for kids, as I said before. So I appreciate your time, appreciate your consideration. Don't know if you guys have any questions.
I know that a couple of our neighboring communities have put in moratoriums on this. It goes through the zoning board for the actual moratorium. This was just brought up at our last Economic Development Corporation meeting.
Good.
Because we had 3 just open up in the last quarter. The full board meetings are quarterly, and in her report, there were 3 just opened in this last quarter. They're popping up all over because they're easy to set up. These landlords are getting significant rent from these type of users. And I think that the Board of Selectmen could, if there was consensus of the group, have a motion to consider this to, take a stance against it. But the actual placing or limiting would be done by the zoning commission, which I know because I've spoken to one of the commission members who is very concerned about this, who has had some surgery earlier this year, which, when you're short of breath, when you're short of lung capacity, it's kind of an important issue for you. And I also spoke with Jack, our zoning enforcement officer, so they are aware of it and it's on their radar already, which I think is a good thing. But yeah, several have popped up just as fast as that.
Yep.
And these are something that aren't really monitored by any particular group. They have a lot of stuff in there to sell that goes far beyond even just
Right.
the vaping and your standard tobacco products. Years ago, you figured you were buying cigars or pipe tobacco or maybe Camels with no filters on them. I mean, maybe, but
Yeah.
times have changed. And there's a lot of other stuff out there. Chantel has already said the chemical compounds in them are much stronger, much more concentrated. And, you'll be sitting at the post road at a traffic light, and you watch the car in front of you or next to you, the windows are open this much, and you see the
Yeah.
clouds just rolling out from their vape, pens
Devices,
and
yeah.
stuff that they do. So, I don't have any questions for Chantel. Does anybody else here?
I have a question. Thank you, Chantal, for presenting, and I found, yeah, everything
Very
informative
scary.
and also scary. So there are age requirements of this, right? You have to be 21?
Correct.
And I'm looking at this list of things that they could sell. Obviously, you have to be 21 to buy everything. Is there any way the zoning committee could implement a rule where you have to be 21 even to enter? Kind of like you have to show an ID, and if you're not 21, you can't even go in.
I'm not sure. That would be for them to,
Because I'm looking at this list, and
Research.
I don't want my daughters going in.
No.
I mean, I know that I've seen it, like at the gas station. Somebody will come in to buy cigarettes or there's other products.
Right.
And I've seen them card them for that material. And I know the state does spot stings, testing,
So they did
some of the places.
several recently. I think it was in July. Demas
Did
comes
anybody,
down
any
and,
fail in Orange?
oh, yeah, a couple.
Well, you can say who they were if they failed. I don't care.
I can.
Sure, why not?
I can't remember the second one, but the first was the Valero at the end of Lambert Road.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And, I think it's like anything else that if kids want to get their hands on it, they're going to. And I
I
think
know, but
what
we
we're-
can make it a little harder.
Right, absolutely. And I think what we're trying to say is, again, there may be some that are selling to kids that are under 21. That's what I kind of hear from the kids at the high school. So, just putting it out there. It's one of those things. It's like alcohol. They're going to figure out a way to get what they need to get.
It's just as Chantel said, this is such a systematic approach that needs to happen in order to reduce and prevent. This is just one way to reduce the environmental risk. It's one way. It's not
Right.
the solution for everybody, but it
Correct.
will help.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's many people with many different reasons why I think it's very important to, why it's so important to consider this, so.
Jim?
Mitch?
Yeah, Chantel, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. After receiving, and thank you for the presentation tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
After receiving your information, I did a little, I shouldn't say investigation, I asked around a little bit about this. And three things came to mind, and some of it's been touched on here. One is the fact that it seems that, from what I've been told, these shops, unlike liquor stores, seem to be much more lax in carding people. And so it sounds like we need more enforcement in that respect. The second thing that comes, was that, yeah.
Do you know what the fine is if they're found?
I don't. I'm sorry, I
That'd be
don't know the
interesting
answer
if
to that.
anybody knows.
I could get that
All right.
information to
Yeah,
you.
that would be that state sting process.
A second thing is how the state currently controls the number of liquor stores per a municipality or per population. And it sounds like.
We have 5.
Yeah, we only have so many
It's by
licenses.
we have
that are-
5 licenses in Orange.
I mean, I thought it was a little more, but even so, whatever it
I think it's
is,
fine.
there's a certain amount.
5 or 7.
And so, is there any such legislation that maybe we should look at this from more of a state level? To see if we can, if the idea is to limit the number of stores per population that you're trying to do by zoning, it might be even easier if it's a statewide thing, just like it is for liquor stores.
So I guess a couple of things. So we're asking just for like a moratorium on it
Right.
today. So I come to you as a youth prevention coordinator.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my role. So as far as legislation and that's
Okay.
kind of above where, I'm at. But I think it like Massachusetts banned all flavoring probably last 6 months. So that's a way that they do it. Connecticut has not done that yet.
We do belong, Chantel does belong to coalitions in the state, and they are looking at legislative action. They do lobby. So where it is at this point,
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. That
And
needs to happen
Yeah.
too.
The third thing that came up was the fact that you have, and PJ just touched on this, or you did as well, the smoke shops themselves are very visible, but I guess most of, or maybe not most, a lot of the same items that you've listed for us are found at almost every gas station, convenience store as
Correct.
well.
Correct.
So that the number of outlets for this is probably more than I thought of,
Yeah.
And, but then by limiting the numbers or putting a moratorium on the numbers, does that really help? I mean, Orange is only, 4 or 5 miles on the post road. I mean, if there's not one at this corner, there's gonna be one at the next corner. Does the moratorium really serve any purpose except to give more business to the ones that are already there?
Well, and I think I'm bringing it to you too, because there is a town that's right up against us that
Yeah.
has said we're doing it.
Yeah.
So guess who's next and
Okay.
getting all those? So that was kind of the red flag that I wanted to raise to you, to let you know, like, this is coming, and is that something you want?
Right.
Which I would say probably not. But in anything we can do for environmental strategies
Yep.
to reduce risk, I mean, that's sort of my goal in being here, along with, letting everybody know that this is coming. And Jim's done a lot with, already talking with, zoning and looking at these things. So hopefully that can continue that discussion and just,
Like was just mentioned about, the fact that certain states have done certain things, certain states have done nothing or very little. The bigger problem you've got is just the fact that I think, if I'm not mistaken, everything on this list is legal, right? It's all,
Oh, yeah.
they're all legal products
right.
in the state of Connecticut. So nothing-
So that's why we do the prevention piece, to let, some of the things that are in there are not supposed to be in there,
Okay.
I mean,
So
there
those
are
would-
certain things that are not supposed to be in there, and again, it's just a runaway train that we're trying to get our own small pieces on.
Those are some of the things behind the counter.
So therefore, it sounds like enforcement's gonna be a big issue here, regardless if there's 5 or 15.
Yeah. And like Stacy was saying, like our coalition, we're in a coalition with West Haven and Milford. And Milford is like, they've done so much to help to provide prevention to their town and work with towns like myself and West Haven on what we can do to sort of make things better for our community.
Right.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Come on, you have to come on up here, though.
Okay.
It's all right.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I loved your presentation. Charles Shetland, 375 Dogburn Lane. And you, I think you hit what I was thinking about, what goes on behind the counter. And does this become an enforcement issue? I grew up in the days of head shops. And you go in and you could buy paraphernalia, but you could also go behind the counter. And so that's something that concerns me and something that I think should be taken into consideration when we're considering smoke shops. So, thank you.
Absolutely agree. Thank you. Any other questions for Chantel or Stacy on this one? If not, Judy?
Personally, I see no harm in supporting, as far as getting a moratorium going, if that's going to be the best, way for us to make a stand, and also to, tell people that we really do stand behind this. I mean, I agree that the children, they're subjected to so many different things. And if we can kind of narrow down where these, the opportunities are, I think it helps. I really do. So I would like to, go ahead and make a motion to say, let's encourage the zoning board to look at it as possibly a moratorium that they could place on the smoke shops.
To levy restrictions.
yeah, levy restrictions,
on
and I'd
this
love to-
Locations and,
Correct, okay.
yes, there's your motion,
Good.
and PJ seconded.
Good.
Any
Make a
discussion
motion
on that motion? Any
I
problems
really-
with that
these poor
motion?
kids. I do feel bad.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Opposed to that motion? Abstain? Unanimous. There it started.
Thank you guys very
No,
much.
thank you.
That's
That-
great.
that-
Thank
That
you.
will be sent to the zoning commission so
Awesome.
that they will know that the Board of Selectmen took action on that.
Yep.
Also, while you're both standing there, I actually wanted to pair you up with Jeff Chandler and his wife, but they snuck out during conversation. Jeff used to own Julia's Bakery. And in Julia's, he had he's a very good craftsman, and he had a plowman symbol and a Town of Orange piece that he had cut all out of wood, and these things were mounted in the store down there, and he wanted to give them to the town, and we said to put them in the senior cafe on one of the walls. Then it took forever and forever and forever and forever to get that done. So I was gonna try to pair you up, but I'm gonna get you his number, since he scooted out of here. And maybe you could reach out to him now that it was done. I mean, I think people would enjoy having that as it's artwork, really, that would be on the wall.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
you guys. Thank
Very
you
good.
very
For your time, thank you. Oh, Callan, I didn't realize there was, stuff was so important.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Some of it is really. All right, we got two items pertaining to Glenbrook, Brookside culvert thing. Do we really want to take it on, or maybe we should just be done for the night? The heck with it.
Oh, we could do that.
I wanted to see the faces back there. I knew that would get you. Sorry, I had to do it. Okay. Wouldn't be the first time. No, I know. The first one is to consider and act on request to approve bid recommendation for the Brookside Drive Glenbrook Road culvert using the balance of the ARPA funds, and remaining amount needed will come out of the capital fund, and authorize the first selectman to execute easements and necessary papers with that. Where did I put my? No, that's the one you made, but I need the other one. This one has my numbers. So, quite interesting. This one went out to bid. Mr. Britton's, are you going to come up and participate at the podium, or you don't want to? Well, they may. But this one was a very good bid opening. It was very interesting. There were 14 bidders. One did not submit numbers, but they submitted a packet. But there were 14 different bidders wanted to participate in this project. And the bids went from about $2.6 million to almost $6 million for this project. What was quite interesting, and Ann brought it to my attention, I don't know, yesterday or today, when this started, Cardinal had estimated it with the original plan of going through your backyard and the lady next door and down through Winkles and all, at like 3.4 to $4 million. And just to do that train trestle thing to get through there was $1 million by itself. And plus, then you'd still have the pipes draining everything through your yard. And so then you heard the story that I came up with a different idea to come with the pipe and go from Brookside around and past Stephen Besputa's house and down the hill that way. And they came in with an estimate on that one of about 2.4 to 2.6 million. And lo and behold, that's right where it landed. So I'm kind of proud of myself. Maybe I should have gone to school for engineering. I don't know, but I'm glad that this is the third of these three areas for now that we're working on, and we have a couple more coming behind it. But you can see the bids there. Burns Construction was the low bidder on this. They've been getting a lot of work in the area, doing a lot of municipal construction. But with that said, for the moment, I'll open it to Mr. Britton if he has any add-ons to that.
No, it should be similar to the, we went out to bid first on Coachman's and Old Country, and that project was completed this.
That one's
this
done.
year. Yep, and if you've driven down there, it looks pretty good. The neighbors are happy. This one's going to be a little more complicated, a little more expensive, but basically the same thing. We got a fantastic participation by contractors, so I don't think you're going to, it's a great time of year to go out to bid for spring work. Not a contract.
Yeah, this one, and if you note on the front page of it, there is a contingency there, so the total number is more than just the bid number on this. This one's going to be a lot of work, and there's still something to resolve, I think. Bob and I had talked about it, and I've talked about it with Stephen Besputa. Possibly when the pipe goes from Brookside and down around the bend and down in front of Stephen's house, instead of going with two, you already have the crossing from Besputa's Pond under Derby Milford Road. So I've thought about, if we got to do it, why not tie this pipe into the crossing at Besputa's Pond and put a new that's pipes under the road there currently, which will be the spot that could block up in the future if there was a block up. And that has happened, and that Derby Milford Road has flooded there. So I've talked about possibly tying this into right at Derby Milford Road by Besputa's spot where it goes under the road, and then replace that whole thing, the pipes that are under the road, with a box culvert there. So that's with that contingency and all. You're still going under Derby Milford Road, which is gonna happen either way, but this way you resolve a potential future problem also, by doing it all at once. You get rid of the pipes, which a pipe is this big. Well, if you have three of them, there's a wall in between each of them, which is where crap hangs up, leaves and sticks and debris, and then it will cause it to back up and flood. So there's a possibility that that may happen. That's, I don't believe, cast in stone yet.
Right.
But it is, that's in discussion at this point to resolve it all at once. And then once it gets under Derby Milford Road there, it goes down towards the cemetery, then down to the Housatonic. So that's a win-win for everybody. I know you have questions, and I'll let you ask from there. Go ahead.
The pipe behind my shed is supposed to be, or I think, if I understood Bob right, they're gonna attach that to what's under my land now. Is that correct?
Yeah,
The pipe that's under your house, under your yard,
Right.
goes under Brookside, through your yard, through Ashley's yard, under Glenbrook, under the train trestle. This new pipe is gonna be picking up the water on, I guess that would be the north side of Brookside. And then it will go from there, it's gonna go up around Brookside, down Glenbrook, past Stephen Besputa's house, down the hill to Derby Milford Road.
Okay,
The pipes are staying under your yard. We're not digging up your yard.
but
Okay.
there's water that floods coming from Garden, okay? People, their land flames. So they take pipes and things and put it so that the water from their yard goes all the way down to my yard and eventually hits that pipe. That pipe, Bob, am I saying this right?
Yeah,
There's a drain in her
Mrs.
yard.
Laverne's backyard is very low.
Yeah.
So there's an existing drain there. They're gonna connect it to the.
To the
there's-
system.
To,
To
to,
the old,
to the old pipe.
Right.
Yeah, and it still goes out the way it has.
That'll go out towards
Right.
and
Winkles.
that will still be, that's in this.
Yeah, we're not touching your yard.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one of the pipes, the metal pipe that runs between the two streets in the backyards, that'll be abandoned in place. And the concrete pipe is the one that'll basically just
Still
take that.
carry water.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right, that's good. The problem there is a little bit is since it was, both Chris Winkle and Walter both told me it was a pond in there, 50 years or more ago. So it's sinking, only because of the aquifer. And I'll bet you it's down right now since there's not much water in the ground. It's probably sunk even more. When we get rain, it will actually puff up some because of the moisture, believe it or not. But that pipe will still be there, that should be picking up, there's the drain in your yard, and that should pick up that water, that goes into the cement pipe, which goes towards Winkles.
That drain in the yard is connected to the steel pipe, though, it's not connected to
Is
the
it?
concrete.
It is, but they're gonna connect it to the other pipe. The steel pipe won't have as long a lifespan, so,
No, those corrode.
And the water coming down the hill, Glenbrook, would that be tied into that as well, or would that continue to turn and go through?
The water that comes down Glenbrook won't meet, because you go back uphill. As you come around the corner there from Brookside onto Glenbrook, you're going uphill. The water that comes down Glenbrook from Garden will go into the catch basins that dump the water into the water that goes under the train trestle. Yeah. Mitchell.
Bob, can you remind us who the contractors were for the other projects?
The low bidder was, is it Earthworks?
Well, the Earthworks did.
Excavating,
Yep.
yeah. He
They
was-
have both of them?
They did both, yeah, it
They
was
ha-
all bid together.
No, but they have Coachman's Old Country.
Yes.
And the Pine Tree Drive one is a lot SIP funded
We haven't
project.
bid that one, right.
That one hasn't been done yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Earthworks,
That's the water
oh, that,
company.
the
They're
water
gonna-
company is doing
Fixing a loop.
work ahead of time for that project,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
But
so
they're doing that on their own.
Earthworks was the low bid before, but they're about in the middle of this bid, just curious. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Well, any other questions for Mr. Britton on this? Yes, Bill?
So that I understand, are we adding pressure to existing pipes in the project?
This
It's a new-
is
all
a
new.
a new pipe.
I'm sorry, everything will be new?
Yeah.
This one is a completely new, we're basically grabbing the stream that causes the flooding and running it to the same river, but downstream.
So we're not adding pressure to existing pipes?
No.
No.
You're
no.
actually taking a lot of pressure off.
Very good, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was part of the problem. Your question is good because so much water would go in there. The drain that they talked about actually worked in reverse. If there was so much backup, the water would come out of the drain into her backyard. So this is actually reversed that problem. Yep.
And we're asking for really three things. Recommend award to Burns Construction, and then for you to recommend to the Board of Finance that we use ARPA funds, and you'll
got
see,
it.
okay, Jim has a particular motion, and also authorize the first selectman to execute the easements that are necessary for the project.
Okay, yeah, there's approximately $1,093,480 in ARPA funds left, and that's the reason that this project had to be voted on tonight, because it needs to go under contract, because if we don't commit this federal money, this is left over from all the COVID payouts and all those things, the federal government will take this $1 million back if it's not committed by December 30th. So that was the urgency to get this pushed forward. So, all right. So the motion will be, just for official, to make a motion to award Burns Construction of Stratford the contract for the Brookside Drive Glenbrook Road Culvert Project, and recommend to the Board of Finance that the town pay for this project by using all remaining ARPA funds currently estimated at $1,093,480, plus any surplus from current ARPA jobs, Old Country Coachman's, and the remainder will be taken from the capital account, which has plenty in it also, over $1 million in there. And in the event that that's still not enough, once the audit of the 23-24 budget is completed, any balance would come out of surplus beyond that, but I don't think we're going to need that.
So moved as read.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? All right.
And Jim, that included the Board of Finance piece and the piece authorizing you to execute the easements?
All of the above. Yeah, I stopped reading it when I got to the
Okay.
numbers.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I just want to make sure it's all part
Yep,
of the
it's
motion.
all there. And then item 4 is to consider an act on request for the engineering services for the culvert replacement project for Brookside Drive, Glenbrook Road, using money from the capital fund. And again, that is the same money that I just referred to for the other part of the project, and you have a workup on that. Was that the final, Bob, of the 78,000?
Yep.
All right, so he's asking for a $78,000, and the funding will be from the same source, from our town capital fund for that.
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Do we have an idea when we're going to start the Peck and Pine Tree one?
We're waiting, I think, Bob, aren't you still waiting on the government, on, that one is LOTSIP funded.
Need the state approval before we can go.
Yeah, the state is holding us up a little on that one.
To do that second and this third, but because of the funding,
We have to do it.
push this one, but that's the next priority.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, to consider an act on request to approve tax refunds totaling $13,189.32. A motion to be made on that?
So moved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, abstain, unanimous. Committees, Pension Board,
Yes, we meet
Mitchell.
next Thursday, November 21st, 7 PM in this room.
okay. I'm not sure if you're going to report tonight or not. Fred Wolf Park, or you have your
Yeah,
event
so
coming up?
we have our meeting tomorrow night, 6:30 at High Plains Community Center. B&L will present to us discussion for long-term planning for this master plan. So please come and voice your opinion if you'd like to.
With that said, is there anything else to, they are going to be paving Salemi Lane, just so you know it. A company that built the new self-storage up at the end of the street is taking on doing the paving and all for that Salemi Lane up there at that self-storage. I mean, we get money back from the water company, so we will give the developer of that property that money that the water company paid us for what they broke up the road, putting in a new water main, and then they're gonna be paying, are paying for, minus the 25,000 that we're giving them from the water company, they're paying for it.
Wow, that's great.
So, yeah, so that, Mr. Foyer and Britton worked on that, and that worked out really well, because our contractors, as I said earlier, Tilcon is closing down for the season. They've already laid off most of their labor, not all, but most. And so this way, the developer of that self-storage wants it done. And so they're willing, when they pave their property up there, they're gonna do the road as part of the project to our specifications.
That's great.
So that worked out, yeah, that worked out very well. And let's see, I'm trying to think if there was another one, it's slipping me. Right, because you all saw TGI Fridays closed. Unfortunately, you also all read probably the articles in the newspaper. I put a call into the chairman, or no, the vice president of Brixmor this week. No, and didn't return the call either. But I left a message with them about, we've brought them 3 very strong potential tenants for that Christmas tree shop. Well, we brought 2. We didn't, then Stu Leonard came from elsewhere. But 3 very strong potential tenants for that site. And they just prefer to leave it with a month-to-month furniture store and furniture storage, and they won't even return the calls. It's very frustrating. No, it makes no sense, because if they did lease that to any of the ones that were brought before them, the whole plaza would be leased. And On the Border Restaurant is struggling over there too, the Mexican restaurant there. And if that was filled by any of those users, that would boom also. And we can't get them to budge on that. And I feel bad for the tenants that are in that plaza, because they're kind of floundering. I mean, the axe throwing bar, pizza place closed. There was another one closed. The lady with the clothing store is day to day, but we can't get, cooperation from that one at all. But there's some other stuff coming along, so we're in a good place, but it's hard. Retail is very hard right now, so that's all I have for you. So is there a motion to adjourn at, it looks like 8:05, I think?
So moved.
Motion made, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.